Welcome back, everybody. This is the video for the multicolored card, and we're going to show you two techniques for a way to do this. The one that I'm going to do the card with is one that everyone will be able to do. But if some of you have the stamp and write markers, these are not the blends, these are the stamp and write markers that have the same water-based ink in them as our ink pads. This is a way that you can minimize the number of steps and fussy cutting to do this card. And you can ink up your stamps with these markers rather than using ink pads. But I know not everybody has the markers, so we're going to do both ways. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of how this works. For this card, you're going to need the large floral image, the outline tag image, and your choice of whatever you're going to put inside for a sentiment. Okay, let us do our little demo here first. So in order to get one flower that's got multiple colors on it, there is no way you can take this and touch it to your ink pads and just get, you know, 1 part green, 1 part papaya, 1 part red. It's not going to happen. So this is where the markers come in handy. And so you can take your marker, and there's a brush tip end, and you can color on the stamp to apply the ink to just the area that you want to be that color. Okay, just like that. And this little piece here. Okay, and then we could switch to the green, and we can do our leaves just in the green. You would never get an ink pad in there to do this. Okay, and then your other flower you can do in the other color. And you just have to be careful when you're going. You're using the edge of the brush tip. You don't want to fray it or anything like that, and you don't want to jam it in on any of these little pieces in here.
This is red in the middle.
Oh, it's red in the middle. Well, do you know what? It's going to be yellow in the middle for this one. Christine just reminded me that it was red in the middle. But this is just for demonstration purposes. It's not going to be perfect because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this. Stamparatus would be real good for this, yes, because if in coloring I miss a spot, and when I stamp it, I could come back and use the Stamparatus to get it in the exact spot I want. Now, that ink has dried, that ink has dried, this ink has probably dried a little bit, so we use the huffing technique where we just huff on it with our breath and wet it. And then when you stamp, you can get a multicolored image. And you can see I didn't really do a fantastic job of coloring, but again, that's where the Stamparatus would be perfect, because then I could just open it up and apply some more ink and stamp it down again, and if I still missed a spot, I could apply some more ink and stamp it down again. It might take you 3 or 4 times before you get it all filled in, and you could work one color at a time too if you wanted to. Just use the red, color all the red parts, do the red, keep doing the red until you've got the red. Then switch and do the green, keep doing the green until you've got the green done. Okay, so that's one way you can do it if you have a Stamparatus, if you have the stamp and write markers, and you're willing to do that. I pieced this one together. So I'm actually going to stamp the floral image 3 times. Once in sorbet, once in papaya, and once in green. And then we're going to do a bunch of fussy cutting. And I know, don't you all love me for fussy cutting? So in your packet, you're looking for the other card base that is the soft succulent. You're going to find in there another layer of soft succulent that has been embossed with the coordinating quadrifoil embossing folder. I did bring it, but here it is. It has a beautiful pattern to it. Well, you can see it on the paper because you're holding the paper in your hand. And then you should have 3 pieces of white. One is for the inside of the card, and the other 2 are for stamping our floral images and a tag. So let's go right to our stamping. We'll do our tag first and get it out of the way. So we'll have, the sorbet for our outline. There we go. And cheers. This is Night of Navy I'm using, but you could use Evening Evergreen, or you could use the sorbet, or you could use whatever you like. All right. And I just got my fingers all full of ink. Thank you. Get that taken care of before I go any further. I'm going to have blue ink all over everything. Okay, there we go. Now, I want a full green image, or papaya. Let's do papaya first since it's open. Because that's the base of our large flowers. I'm really only concerned with the flowers, but we'll do the whole thing. Just want to make sure I get those 2 large flowers on there. So that's going to go over here, this edge, and I don't care that the green has gone off a little. Okay? Then we need to clean that, and we need to do it again in the sorbet, and I'm only concerned about the middles of the flowers and the 2 larger flowers. And I should be able to turn this around this way and get my flower centers, the 2 big flowers, and there we go. So it's gone off the edge a little bit, but I only want my flower centers and those 2 flowers. And then we want the green. This is going to be the whole thing, because everything's going to glue to this. I'm just going to do that one right here in the middle like that. All right. So now we've got some fussy cutting to do. So this whole thing is going to get cut out. And then we're going to cut out the red flowers, the flower centers, and we're going to cut out the 2 large papaya flowers. Feel free to fast forward through this part of the video if you like. Nah. We'll just sit here and...
You want the lurch?
Yeah. All of these layers have white space between them, which is nice. So as long as we don't leave too big of a white border around the outside, they should layer up nice when put over top of each other, because they're exactly going to cover whatever the same image is that's underneath of it. Some of this. There we go. If you're new to fussy cutting and you've never done it before, I can't imagine, but if you haven't, it is easier to rotate your paper and keep your scissors cutting straight than it is to try to wiggle your scissors in around all the little loops. And it's easier to get rid of the big hunks of paper that get in the way of your hands too. And there's a few spots as you go around the green one where you really can't go all the way in between because you'd be cutting the whole image and it would fall apart. So I'm roughly navigating the outside edge and going in a little. So I'm not worried about trying to get any of this stuff that's in here because it would just fall apart if I did that. And the same here, I'm only going to go in just right to there and then turn around and come back. Okay, there I have my base image. Christine's got me the 2 papaya flowers, so let's glue those on. I'm not adding any dimensionals or anything because I want to put the whole thing up on dimensionals. So now I just have to find where the image matches the same. And it's the same identical image over top of the same identical image, so it should exactly cover, even though both of us cut entirely different shapes around the outside of them, they should still match. Glue this one on. Yep. Got it right, just didn't look like it in my mind for some reason. There we go. Should be able just to almost round cut
I'm
those. There is, on these flower centers, there's quite a bit of white space around the outside, so you don't actually have to cut in every one of these little loops. As long as you clear these pieces on the outside here, those little layers will fit. Okay, so this is for this one. Like that. Perfect. And one last one. All right, while I'm waiting for that one to come, on my card, there are 2 pieces of the designer series paper kind of stacked in the back. And so I used these 2, but you can use whatever you like. And you need exactly half of one of these pieces. So they're both 3 by 4. So I'm just going to take those 2 together on my trimmer and trim them off at 3 inches. Like that, and you have another set for another card. All right, there we've got our other flower center. And I'm just looking to line up the little ones. There's a couple of little ones that stick off the side. There's 3 of them there, so they line up. And the same thing over here. There's 2 on this one that line up. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put some dimensionals all over the back of that piece and our tag. But on your tag, when you're putting dimensionals, don't put a dimensional in this bottom lower corner, because our ribbon knot is going to go underneath of there. So it only needs dimensionals in those 3 corners. So not that one. Okay. Then we can start to assemble our card. So I'm going to take card base, fold and burnish. And that other white piece goes on the inside. Again, you stamp it up, embellish it, decorate it, put some designer paper on it, some more flowers, whatever you like for your card, for your purposes. Goes inside. Like that. Then our beautiful embossed piece goes on the front. And it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card front, so there's a very, very small margin around the outside of it, just a 1/16 of an inch. We always do that separate, because when embossing the front of the card, it weakens it and it makes it floppy. So this just stiffens that all up. Then we can take our 2 pieces of paper, and whichever one's going to go on the top, I'm just going to go in the middle part here. Not to my edges, just the middle. I'm just tacking it in place right now. And I'm just going to put it over top of the other one, caddy corner, like that. Okay. Stick that down. And now, as a single piece, I can go and do my edges. And I want lots of coverage with the glue, not necessarily lots of glue, but lots of coverage, because this is a textured piece and I want it to stick well. And I'm going just a little higher than center and a little off to the right with it, like that. And then my flower with loads of dimensionals. Thank you, Christine. It's wonderful. And he's just going to go on there like that. Just looking to see where I kind of went off the edges a little bit so that it has a nice 3D look to it. Okay.
Ribbon.
Yep, then our tag, and we're going to slide the ribbon in under after.
Okay.
And our tag can go on there like that. And we left this corner with nothing under it, so we're going to slide our ribbon under. So we need a piece of ribbon, I don't know, about that long. And we're just going to tie a knot in it. Pull it nice and taut, because we want to get that knot tucked underneath, and then we're going to double notch the edges. And while Christine does the knot, I will put some bling on. Oh, jumpy little things today.
Is that too long?
Nope.
It's okay.
I'm going to put one on that little blue dot right there. There we go. Okay. And then that's going to go underneath like that. And we're just going to secure it in spot with a glue dot.
No, that's not good here. I have to redo this one.
Ah, yep. And I think I'm actually going to pry that dimensional that we put there up just a little bit. And I'm going to put the ribbon underneath that corner a little bit too. Okay, a couple of glue dots. One on that side and one on that side of the knot. One there.
Come on.
Poke him from underneath so he'll flip over. There. That's good enough. That's good enough. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one.